Good afternoon to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines at home and abroad and residents in our blessed land. Earlier this afternoon at 1 o'clock, I issued a disaster alert declaration. And then I set about having a meeting of the National Emergency Management Council. In the middle of this meeting, a short while ago, I received a communication from Professor Robertson of the Seismic Research Center of the University of the West Indies based in Trinidad and Tobago, but who is located temporarily now with his team in St. Vincent, that what you heard there is someone's cell phone and among the press which just went off. Unfortunate, but there it is. And Professor Robertson indicated to me that matters have deteriorated further at La Soufriere. And he spoke to Michelle Forbes, the director of NEMO, and she tendered me advice relevant to the making of an order in respect of evacuation. You may recall that at 1 o'clock, Professor Robertson had advised that the volcano had entered a heightened period of activity indicative of a fresh batch of magma either near or approaching the surface of the volcano. And the possibility for activity to move to an explosive phase has increased significantly. And he had further advised that given the current data, he was not able to say what the time scale would be. And his recommendation was that preparations be finalized for a possible evacuation within a few hours' notice. And he had advised it may be a couple of days. There was uncertainty. But since then, there has been further heightened activity, and he would explain what has occurred and what the advice he has given, the recommendation, and then I will proceed to speak on the evacuation immediately after Professor Robertson. Richie, please.
Yes, good afternoon, Prime Minister. Good afternoon, everybody who's listening. As the Prime Minister indicated, activity at Soufriere changed significantly early this morning with the onset of what we call tremor activity. And tremor at a volcano, you can think of it as simply that the volcano is shaking throughout the day. And you've had, I believe, six periods of tremor interspersed by about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. The significant thing that's changed since the last briefing, though, is that the last period of tremor was accompanied by periods of venting, gas venting, significant pulsing at the volcano, where it looks clearly like if it's, for want of a better word, it looks like it's trying to clear its throat. So it indicates to us that we can have explosion, and at this point, we cannot say for sure and cannot give any further clear warning that nothing would happen within the next 24 to 48 hours. So therefore, when we brief the Prime Minister, was to say that there's no further warning we expect, and therefore to guarantee safety of people, he needs to take it's best to take certain decisions. So right now, we would not be surprised, for example, if sometime between the next 24 to 48 hours, there are explosions from the volcano. that are much more significant than we have seen so far. The pulsing is one thing, but explosions is different. So we seem to be clearly heading into something that might be explosive, and therefore we need to take necessary actions to safeguard life and limb. That's all I'll have to say. If there's any questions, I'm here to answer those. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Robertson. Having received that report earlier, and Michelle Forbes also received that report. Michelle Forbes, the director of NEMO, tendered the advice to me relevant to the order I'm about to make. Acting on the advice of the director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, and pursuant to sections 33 and 40 of the National Emergency and Disaster Management Act, Chapter 88 of the Laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I hereby order as follows. 1. The evacuation of all premises in the areas designated as the red zone on the northeast and northwest of St. Vincent, and the evacuation of the area itself. So an evacuation of the premises in the red zone on the northeast and the northwest, and evacuation of the areas themselves. And 2, the exclusion of persons, vessels, or vehicles from such premises and areas, save and except for the purpose of effecting the said evacuation. This order would be published tomorrow, but it has effect immediately, because under Section 40, an order made by me as the Minister and Prime Minister to this effect is immediate. So there is now in the country an evacuation order. All arrangements have now kick-started and the process begins. I want to urge all our people to be calm, do not panic, be disciplined, be orderly. The heads of all the subcommittees in NEMO were at the meeting of the National Emergency Council, and they know what they have to do. It is a question of effecting the plans. And I would let the director of NEMO say a few words in that regard. I report, however, additional to what I stated earlier today when I briefed the press, to indicate that Royal Caribbean is offering 3 vessels, 3 ships. 2 of them will come by tomorrow morning. A 3rd one will come subsequently. And Carnival Cruise Line, through the Minister of Tourism, has indicated that by tomorrow evening there will be 2 cruise ships from Carnival. I should point out that the cruise ships of Royal Caribbean will be first used to transport the persons from St. Vincent and the Grenadines who are to be evacuated to other islands, other countries in the region who have offered temporary hospitality, namely St. Lucia, Grenada, Barbados, Antigua. The arrangements have not been made in respect of the BVI, the British Virgin Islands, but that offer is on hand. I have spoken to the Minister of National Security in the government of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Stuart Young, speaking on behalf of Prime Minister Rowley, and they have offered support in every material particular, and so too the President of the Republic of Guyana. The Premier of Montserrat has sent his support and regards, and I've been advised by Camilo that the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis has been trying to get me, but I was in the meeting with Nemo. He's now at a press briefing, and I will speak to him shortly. I've been advised that he too has offered, if required, to take persons, if they so desire, for a short period of time during this heightened volcanic activity, this period of evacuation. I should point out that the cruise lines, in this case Royal Caribbean, they've indicated that they, having transported persons, they would be available for a short period of time. They have not indicated what period of time to hold our people who are evacuated. Royal Caribbean has generously indicated that they will make the provisioning for the ships. The reason why they would not be able to take persons immediately is because they don't have all the crew members necessary to keep 1,500 aboard each ship. So, but they could transport in numbers of, say, 500. But the third ship will bring all the relevant crew and so on and so forth. I don't know yet all the details in relation to the Carnival Cruise Line. But I want to thank the management, the owners of Carnival Cruise Line and Royal Caribbean for their generosity. I want to thank all the governments of CARICOM for their generosity. I know Prime Minister Skerritt in Dominica had hitherto offered all his assistance. And I'm sure that other countries in CARICOM, those who have not spoken to me as yet, would render their support. Meanwhile, the Minister of Finance, Camilo, has indicated to the World Bank that what we had already negotiated with them, 54 million EC dollars, the catastrophic drawdown deferred option, the DDO, that he has given them notice that an order is being made, and all this would be formalized and would be sent to the World Bank so we can begin drawdown from monies there and what we have in our contingency fund. It's going to cost a lot more money than both of those things, but we have some resources to start what we are doing. The private sector has been calling in, and I want to thank the private sector for their offers of assistance and generosity. I've spoken to Her Excellency the Governor General and indicated to her what I was going to do. I've spoken also to the leader of the opposition, the Honorable Godwin Friday, and indicated to him, and also to the Honorable Sinclair Leacock, who, as you know, has been involved in an activity in 1979 when he was head of the Cadet Corps, and I'm sure that he would lend his own support to our efforts. I reiterate, we must be calm, we must be disciplined, we must be orderly. I don't want you to panic. That is the worst thing to do. I know that there are many persons who are being transported privately. I want to say that those of you who are being transported privately and would come into government shelters, those designated areas are published, and most of you would no doubt be going to the homes of friends and families and other arrangements. So, as you notice what we are doing, we're having friends and families here taking care of some offers of assistance from our regional brothers and sisters, some temporary solace provided by cruise ships. And then, of course, there are the government-run, operated emergency shelters. Not everything is going to go perfect, but if we all cooperate with one another, we do everything with a good spirit and a good heart and with good neighborly love, we will come through this stronger than ever.